Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
To give the EFF's commitments for the 2024 elections. Eldorado, I give you Julius Malema.
Thank you. Amanda, thank you very much. Good doctor, we can all be seated. Our provincial deputy chairperson, secretary, members of the provincial election task force, the convener Ndlozi, and our MMCs who are here with us. Let me also acknowledge all of you, especially our elders from the retirement home and all the activists of the EFF. I'm happy to be here in Eldorado Park. And when they said I was coming here, someone thought I was coming here for the first time. It's not true. I've been here many times, especially when I was the president of the ANC Youth League. I used to go into the flats and look at the conditions of our people in the flats and try to fight for them to change those conditions of our people. Eldorado Park, we all know, is part of all the racist areas that were created by Racist Group Areas Act that said colors must go this side, African this side, Indians this side. They wanted to divide us and not allow us to see ourselves as one thing. They did so in the 50s. And they said, you are colored, I'm an African, he's an Indian. But we're all oppressed. Why, when we are different, are we oppressed the same? So it means standing here is not an African, it's a colored. Because colored means oppressed. Blacks means oppressed. Indian means oppressed. And we are all the products of oppression, and we must never see each other through the color of our skin. We must see ourselves through the conditions we live in. My children and your children are born into unemployment. You know that my children can go to school in Eldorado Park. They will be referred to these days silently as kafirs. They will not call them kafirs openly, but they look at them and say, these kafirs will not get this high position. These kafirs will not get this business opportunity. All of that goes back to those who were privileged under oppression. So we were all rejected. We were all exploited. We were all abused. And alcoholism and drug abuse was introduced not only in Eldorado Park, everywhere else where you found the oppressed people. So Eldorado Park is known for fighting, and the people of Eldorado Park are known for not being scared to confront an oppression. And that's why this area has got a good history in the struggle against apartheid. So the people of Eldorado Park and Soweto have been fighting shoulder to shoulder to defeat an apartheid government. That's why it will be wrong for anyone to say the people of Soweto must benefit more than the people of Eldorado Park. We have to benefit the same way because we were oppressed the same way. We have to fight unemployment, poverty, crime, alcohol, drug abuse, which is what affects all of us. What brings us together is that we don't own the banks, we don't own the land, we don't own the industries. Children pass matric, they don't know where to go. That's why they surrender to alcohol and drugs. So we want children of Eldorado Park Commissar Mgeni Chwaku, to be employed in the public safety, to be Metro Police as well. We must not just see only African Metro Police. There is no colored, there is no one who can speak to me in Afrikaans in a manner that I can feel represented in the police force of Johannesburg. The same goes to the health. When we go to health, MMC, Enimakafula must make sure that they say they are going to operate a satellite clinic in the retirement village. But you cannot open a satellite village which is going to be operated by people who can speak our language, by people who understand us, by our own children who will not treat us as customers, but treat us as their parents and love us the way people love their own parents. Now, we in the EFF were for everyone. We are for Africans, for coloreds, for Indians, for whites. We are for Christians, we are for Muslims, we are for all the nations, because we believe South Africa is a diverse nation. Now I hear there was a fool who went around here saying, I don't want Jesus Christ. And I asked these guys, why do they say I don't want Jesus Christ? They say you said something some other day about Jesus Christ. I said, what is your response when they say you don't love Jesus Christ? They too don't have an answer. I said to them, you must answer them with one thing. When they say Julius Malema doesn't love Jesus Christ, you must tell them Julius Malema built a church of Christ in Sishiwu, where he comes from, in honor of his mother. There is a house of the Lord that I've built with my own hands. And I invited Zuma to go and open that church with me. And Zuma came along. Now, those who have a mind of a rat will not remember that I've built a church, not only one, but many churches. I've made a contribution to make sure that this religion of Christianity prosper as any other religion. So I don't have anything except that myself, I'm a Christian. My religion is Christianity. My church is the Sishiwu Baptist Church. I pay my services there every month so that my funeral can have a pastor. I don't want Mbuyiseni to be borrowed to come and make a prayer at my funeral. So we are for everyone as the EFF. We just don't want racists. We don't like drug lords. The drug lords here in Eldorado Park work with Begikele's police. They distribute drugs through the police vans, and they are protected by the police. We have established a special unit for the first time under Metro Police, under the EFF MMC, a special task force that goes around fighting dangerous criminals. It was here last night where we were fighting toe for toe against drug lords, where we went to liberate a lady who was kidnapped. 2 weeks, police could not find that person. Only the special task force of the Metro Police under the EFF found that lady here in Eldorado Park yesterday. And our MMC, who's the national leader of the EFF, was with the task force on the ground himself. Fighting crime is not a one-night stand, it's a permanent thing. We are going to fight criminals here in Eldorado Park, in Orange Farm, in Sebokeng, in Soweto, Mamelodi, and everywhere in Gauteng, because criminals have taken over our towns and our townships. We need to reclaim those places. We need to make sure that there is sports in Eldorado Park. There must be sports facilities. You can't say to children, don't go and do drugs, and you don't give them an alternative. Because children have got too much energy. That energy must be harnessed. It must be channeled somewhere. If you don't use it, they will go and use it in a wrong place. That's why they must go to school. After school, they must write homework. When they think they are done with the homework, they are at the sports field. When they are done at the sports field, back home, take a shower, sleep, prepare for school. So that energy every time, we know where that energy is monitored and rightfully channeled. Not only that, we want your children to go and learn for free. Whether you are rich or not, whether you are white or not, the only thing that is going to liberate this country is education. Tate Mandela should not have given us RDP houses in 1994. He should have given us free education. We were going to build our own houses. Because when you look at educated people and you look at the percentage of unemployment amongst educated people is very low. Which means education and employment and empowerment are the same WhatsApp group. They go together. Poverty can be defeated by education. Drugs can be defeated by education. So why do you say people must pay for them to liberate their own future? You cannot buy education the same way you buy bread. There must be a difference between education and bread. Bread is a commodity. Education is a human right that is enshrined and protected by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So we want education not only at secondary level, primary and early childhood development, even at the universities. Your children must earn a seat at the university not because you have money, but because their results look good. Just by their results, they must automatically be accepted at tertiary level. We are going to make sure that the children of Eldorado Park get employment. We must demand that every department in Gauteng must be a reflection of how Gauteng looks like. So when you go to a department, there must be a colored person. There must be an Indian person. There must be a white person. There must be African person. How South Africa looks like, that's how a place of employment must look like. For as long as this place of employment has got no colors, it's not a true reflection of South Africa. It's a distortion of South Africa. And therefore and we should not put a quota and say, no, in the whole department we have hired 10% colors is enough. There must be colors in the departments. If they qualify and they are South Africans, they've got a South African ID, let them go in without a quota. The same way we don't go in with quotas, we go in with our qualification. The same thing with Indians. It's very difficult now to find an Indian cop because they have all been wiped out of the system. That's why when people don't see you a lot, they're like, hey, you are so scarce like an Indian policeman. Because it's very difficult to find an Indian policeman. So we need every sector of society to be part of our society. Comrades, we don't want this. This thing of tenders is what is causing problem. You are a security guard, you've got your own certificate. I want a security guard as a government. I go hire a middleman called a businessman who knows nothing about security. He just registered CC. He's got a political connection. He gets a tender to come and hire me. Why is government not hiring me directly? Because when I vote for government, I vote for government directly. I don't vote through a middleman called a company. I'm voting for jobs from my government. I'm voting for a piece of land from my government. I'm voting to stop load shedding from my government. No one was between me and my government. I chose it myself directly. Let my government speak to me and hire me directly without a middleman. You know, here in Johannesburg, and the media loves that because it favors them. They say Mashaba insourced workers in Johannesburg. Mashaba was told by the EFF, because he was our mayor. We said to him, you are going to insource the security guards in Johannesburg. And he insourced the security guards in Johannesburg. Today he claims that it was him. I asked him one question. You were sent by the DA into that municipality. Where in the DA do you find a policy that says you must insource the security guards? It was not a DA policy that he was implementing. It was the EFF policy. Why? We made arrangements because we didn't have majority in the municipality of Johannesburg. It was give and take. We said to them, we are going to give you a mayor. In exchange, you are going to insource security guards in Johannesburg. And we did it to show it was not my Shaba's policy. We went to do it at Wits University. Through our own EFF student command, we said all cleaners, all security guards must be insourced and work for the university directly without a middleman called a company. Today, the workers at Wits University are insourced because of the EFF. The workers of Wits University now have benefits. As long as you are a cleaner at Wits University, your child is now entitled to go to Wits University without paying as benefits of being insourced by the EFF. So we have already implemented this policy. That's why when we took those security guards in Johannesburg, they were earning less than 12,500, yet government is paying more for one security. Government can pay for one guard 15,000. What goes into the pocket of the guard is 4,500. He's got no pension benefits. He's got no medical aid. My original home is in Limpopo. I know that because our fathers used to come back empty-handed and sick. And there will be a general accusation that these people were lazy. Women ate their money in Johannesburg, which is not true. They worked at the gate of a municipality for 35 years, but they were exchanged by different companies that were getting tenders from that municipality. Every 5 years, every 3 years, there is a new company. You get transferred to that company, no pension, no benefits, no nothing. You die poor, yet you worked for 35 years. Now, with the EFF policy, they now get benefits. They've got pension, they've got medical aid, they've got leave days. Remember, in those companies of security guards, you don't even have leave days. Because if you go to leave, you are fired. You find a new person on your position. So we want all who work for government to be insourced and cleaners to be insourced, because a cleaner is a worker. The same way a lecturer at Wits is a worker. They are both workers at different levels. They must all get workers' benefits at their different level. And that's what the EFF is fighting for. We want to make sure that all of us have land. We don't want this thing of squatter camps and all of that. We want every piece of land to be formalized. You know, the EFF is the only brave organization. When we find a squatter camp, because our people just build, we reallocate them in the same township and tell them in the same squatter camp, this is going to be a public road. When you give yourselves land, don't stay the way the Boers were making you stay. It's now you who's allocating the land. Why do you occupy the land in a manner that doesn't reflect a human settlement? So we have taken a Department of Human Settlement in Ekurhuleni. You will see in Ekurhuleni, we are going to formalize informal settlement. And formalization of informal settlement does not only mean passing that in the council. It means immediately our MMC must go into the so-called squatter camp and start picking people properly, opening roads, identifying piece of land for place of worship, for shopping complex, for a clinic that will operate 24 hours, for school. We must not be like ANC that goes and find an empty land next to a mountain. No water, no electricity, no nothing. Build RDP houses there and take all of you from your suffering in Eldorado Park, but at least you had some water, some flushing toilet. Take you there and dump you in the bush and say, clap your hands for being turned into baboons by the ANC. Why do you take me? I'm saying to you, we want a house, we want roads, we want it. You take me away from where those things are. And then you go and dump me and say, I'm coming back to give you what, when? I want water now. The day I occupy that house is the day I must drink water. And to show that I'm liberated, that day I must bath nicely in my own house that has got a flushing toilet and a bathroom. It is not a house if it doesn't have a toilet. No shack is built with a toilet. So once you get into it and there is no toilet, you must know it's a glorified shack. It's not a house. What is a house? When we were marching in Eldorado Park and Soweto, we said, we don't want matchbox houses. We want houses. When we said we want houses, we're looking at those houses of poor white people which were built for them by apartheid government. We said we want something like that or even much better than that. We get worse than that and we clap hands. We have been zombified in the name of the struggle. We have been zombified in the name of Nelson Mandela. When you talk, they say, this is ANC of Mandela. Wait. But we voted for Mandela, we honored him. He passed on. Leave him to rest in peace and allow us to determine our own destination. So, we really are in trouble if we continue the way we are. Here in Eldorado Park, you just go and elect a councillor of a drug lords, of a drug organization, of gangsters. The president of that organization says in the debate yesterday, Comrade Carl, he was debating with Mzwanele Manyi. He says, the business of drugs, he thinks he's making a point, Dr. Ndlozi. The business of drugs has been taken over by Nigerians. I'm like, he wants us to take over the business of drugs. He doesn't say we must close down the drugs. His problem with the Nigerians is that they can no longer sell drugs as leaders of Patriotic Alliance. They want Nigerians to go so that they can sell the drugs. That's what he said. He said, go and watch that debate. He said, the business of drugs has been taken over by Nigerians. You know, when you say the business of selling on the pavements has been taken by Zimbabweans, because we want them to go, we want to sell ourselves vegetables, fruits, and survive. I can listen to that. But you are not going to mobilize me that I must fight another drug lord to replace that drug lord with you as a drug lord. We are not fighting the drug lords. We are fighting the drugs. The drugs must get out of South Africa. Once the drugs are out of South Africa, there won't be a drug lord. The problem is the drugs. The problem is crime. It's not who is committing crime. So we must never be mobilized under some wrong sentiments. Hey, these people are taking our jobs. I saw a lady there in the debate saying, these people are taking our jobs. And I told the EFF comrades where they said, get me a number. Because she says they took a job. She must take me to a job which was taken from her. I will put her in that job and remove those people who have taken the job from her. Because I hear this thing that they've taken our jobs. I'm like, which ones? You never worked since you passed matric. Because jobs were given to ANC corrupt people. Whether Zimbabweans are going or not, you will never get in as long as you don't have a political connection. The problem is not Zimbabweans. The problem is corruption of the ANC that gives people jobs on the basis of families and relatives. And above all, I hope children close their ears. They also use sex to give each other jobs in this Johannesburg municipality. It's not Zimbabweans who took a job from you. There are no jobs. Why are there no jobs? The economy is not growing. Because only a growing economy can produce jobs. So the economy is not stagnant because some Zimbabwean is holding a rope for the economy not to grow. The economy is not growing because white people who have money in South Africa are not reinvesting money in the economy. They've got it in liquidity in their banks. So that the day you revolt against them, they don't have to carry a building. They just press transfer and then the money goes. That's what makes our economy to be stagnant. Corruption of the ANC. The inability to think of the ANC. Because today, we have minerals. There is what we call chrome. That when processed, it produces steel. There is nothing today you build in South Africa that doesn't want steel. Which means steel is in demand. Why are we not producing steel through beneficiation of chrome in South Africa and create jobs for our own children? Why are we not closing these entrances of the airports and the ports, all of them, where fake goods are brought in? Someone said, no, their fake goods are coming in here. They come from Zimbabwe. I'm like, Zimbabwe? Which good are they producing in Zimbabwe? They are not from Zimbabwe. They are far away from Zimbabwe. We need to close those and create manufacturing industries the way we used to do in the Western Cape, and the colored community was leading that manufacturing sector in the Western Cape. So, all you need is leaders who think, not leaders who look at, what can I steal now? No, we'll steal after 30 years. Now, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Now that we are going to election on the 29th of May, the situation is worse. They are stealing left, right, and center because the results are showing that the ANC is not coming back. The results are showing that the DA is not coming back. The results are showing that gangsters parties are not going to govern this government of Gauteng. So they are stealing everything they can get hold of because they know they are not coming back. Eldorado Park, we are not going to vote for a councillor now. We are going to a provincial election. We are going to a national election. Do not make a mistake you made with a councillor. That mistake is not Eldorado Park mistake alone. This time you make a mistake, you collapse the whole country. You cannot entrust our country in the hands of gangsters, in the hands of the corrupt, in the hands of the racist. You need to entrust this government in the hands that loves black people. Who are the black people? Colored Africans, Indians, who were oppressed. And this is the only organization that represents those people. Today, we are lucky and we are told by television we must celebrate that 22 days we didn't have load shedding. Let's call a party and say there's no load shedding. We are being made to celebrate stupid things. Even on the news, they write it there down. It keeps on passing. 22 days without load shedding. You know why they're saying? They suspended load shedding because of the elections. Because load shedding is man-made. To show that load shedding is man-made, during our Rugby World Cup, we love rugby, there was no load shedding. How can electricity know that there is a Rugby World Cup? Only a human being will know that there is a World Cup and the bosses want to watch. After they paraded the cup, the last day load shedding came. Boom. And it didn't just come, it went stage 6. Let me tell you, the suspended load shedding is going to come back on the 29th at 12 midnight when we counting the votes. Because you know these criminals, they are going to switch off the electricity and steal the votes. So they must find Eldorado Park ready. When they switch off load shedding, you switch on the torch. Hey, crook, we know you. So, load shedding is man-made. We can fix it. They say to us, do not use coal, is polluting. After saying do not use coal is polluting, they say to us, bring that coal here. They say don't use it. But go and look at how many trucks are lining up, going to Richards Bay in KZN, off to Germany, Britain, all of Europe, including China. They say to you, close this power station that gives you 1,000 megawatts. For what alternative? They don't have. We will never close any power station. If you want us to close any power station for a green energy, you must say to us, close 1,000 megawatts, shut it down. We are giving you 1,000 megawatts from wind, from gas and all of that. If you don't give us that, we have no reason to close. You must always have a base to build from. So our base in South Africa is coal. We support the mixed energy sources, but we cannot be made to suffer before we realize the resolution. Gradually, we are going to convert into an alternative. We say in the EFF, we believe one of the biggest contributors to, or one of the biggest consumers of electricity is heating. When you have electricity geyser, is the one that consumes a lot of electricity. They are now solar geysers and gas geysers. As a bargain, why is government not saying in Gauteng, we are going to replace all your geysers. We will give you a gas geyser. you give us the electricity geyser, we go and destroy it. We have relieved the grid from a pressure. The second one is, why do we cook with electricity when there is gas stoves? And we are the ones who approve. We are the ones who approve plans. When I want to build a house here in Eldorado Park, I submit the plans to the municipality. Municipality must say, in these new plans, we want to see gas stove and gas geyser. Once we are removed from cooking and heating from electricity, we have relieved the grid of a significant portion of consumption. Those are immediate practical things that can be done. And who's going to swap these geysers? It's your children. We employ them. At the same time, we resolve two issues of electricity crisis and unemployment, because solutions are there. So I am here to say to you, this is my home. I belong to the colored community. They belong to me. We are one thing, and nothing can separate us. Your problems are my problems. When I fight corruption, when I fight stealing from our government, I'm thinking of you. I want your children to be liberated and be part of those communities that are prospering. I don't like this thing that every time we speak of drugs, you think of colored communities. We need to destroy that. When we speak of gangster, we think of colored communities. When we speak of unemployment, alcohol, colored communities. No. We need to fight all those social ills in the colored communities and restore your dignity. So, when we're preparing for this meeting, they say, you have to arrive at 2 o'clock at Eldorado Park. Why? They say at 6 is dangerous. It's dangerous. It will never be dangerous as long as my people are living there. It means I can also live amongst those people. Whatever danger they are confronting, let me experience it today. Because I'm not going into Eldorado Park sneaking in and sneaking out. I'm not going to surrender my independence and the independence of the people of Eldorado Park to the hands of criminals. Why would a government normalize that there at 6 is dangerous? It means we know. Why are we not deploying the necessary force to deal with the problem? Because we know the problem. Now that you told us you can't come in here at 6 o'clock is dangerous, it means there must be a permanent deployment. After 6, there must be visible policing. And if the police of Eldorado Park are corrupt, get other police from outside to come and monitor the crime in Eldorado Park. So I'm confident that under the EFF government, we will be free. None of us come from prison for stealing from people and robbing people. None of us has got a history of being in a relationship with gangsters. None of us has got a relationship with drug lords. We joined the struggle at a young age. The choice is yours. If you want to elect drug lords or you want children who grew up in a struggle against the oppression of black people. I thank you.